Buenas noches. Vamos a mirar el vocabulario del capítulo 5 en el café. Primero tenemos unos sustantivos. El café. This has two meanings. The first is that it is a small restaurant, a cafe. The other is that it is a cup of coffee. La mesa is a table. And then you can see this interesting connection between words here because el mesero or la mesera is the waiter or the waitress because they come to your table. Another word for waiter or waitress is el camarero, la camarera. So these mean the same things, but depending where you are, you might use different words. El delantal is an apron. You might remember that from our recent clothes unit. El menú is a menu. La orden is your actual order that you place. La cuenta is the bill. And now we're going to get into some of the foods. I have them somewhat organized here. So, for example, we have beverages. I guess I could add one more thing to this. Las bebidas are beverages. Oh, and that messed up all my alignment. Okay, las bebidas. So those are beverages or drinks, and los refrescos are sodas. Una Coca-Cola, of course, is a Coca-Cola. Now, what's kind of interesting is for a long time, the Coca-Cola company was so dominant in the soda industry that people would say, quiero una Coca-Cola naranja. I want an orange Coca-Cola. Or quiero una Coca-Cola limonada, like a lemon lime Coca-Cola. So just using it in place of a refresco, using it for the term soda. So kind of weird fact. Un café solo is black coffee. Un café con leche is this coffee that is with milk, but it's really good. I had it a lot in the cafes in España. Un té helado is an iced tea. La leche is milk. Una limonada is a lemonade. Can one of you guys check on the chocolate buns, please? Estamos cocinando ahora mismo. El cereal is cereal. El pan tostado is toast. Un yogur is yogurt. And so those are some of your maybe breakfast items. Una sopa is soup, not a bar soap. Un bocadillo is a sandwich, and this is usually the sandwich that is on French bread, a longer piece of bread. Un sandwich, that's a very American Spanish word. So taking our sandwich and just saying it sandwich. El jamón is ham. El queso is cheese. Una hamburguesa is a hamburger. Y las papas fritas are French fries. Papas fritas sometimes can also be used for potato chips because basically the method is the same. You just fry them a little bit longer. So those are some of our nouns. And so we have some more nouns because we've got a lot of different food here. Una tortilla, that is anything that's kind of like a little cake. So tortilla a la española, we may have a chance to make that in class. It is a mixture of eggs and potatoes and onions that you fry in a pan. Una ensalada is a salad. El postre is a dessert. Una galleta is a cookie. Los productos congelados are frozen foods or frozen products. Un helado, so when you have un in front of it, instead of becoming iced, it's ice cream. Quiero un helado. I want an ice cream. Quiero un helado de vainilla, de chocolate. So you can add the de with the flavor that you want. De fresa, maybe I should put that in, strawberry. De fresa. Un pan dulce, this is more of a Spanish thing, to have a sweet bread. So, pan dulce, sometimes for dessert, sometimes for breakfast. And el mercado is a market. El supermercado is a large grocery store usually. And then you can think about what kinds of containers your food might come in. Una caja de is a box of. Un bote de is another kind of container. Una botella de is a bottle. Una docena is a dozen. Una lata de is a can of. Un paquete is a package. Una bolsa de is a bag of. Un kilo, if you want to start using the weight. Quiero un kilo de arroz. I want a kilo of rice. And then we have los vegetales, las verduras. Two different words to use to describe them. You might like vegetales because it's closer to our vegetables. Los guisantes are peas. Las habichuelas, los frijoles, are two different words for beans, more like your dried beans, kidney beans, that kind of thing. Las judías verdes are the long string green beans. Las zanahorias are carrots. Las papas are potatoes. La lechuga is lettuce. And we're not nearly done. Okay, más sustantivos, more nouns. Las frutas, we've got las naranjas. So for fruit, we've got oranges. Las manzanas are apples. Los plátanos are bananas. Los tomates are tomatoes. And, you know, there are so many more, but we want to limit our vocab a little bit here. Moving on to another group here. La carne is meat. El beefsteak is like a beefsteak. Los mariscos are just generally seafood. El pescado is fish. El pollo is chicken. El atún is tuna. El huevo is an egg. I have a little asterisk here because you do want to be careful certain places where you use this because there's a vulgar expression when you say los huevos. So just be aware of that. El arroz is rice. El aceite oliva is olive oil, which is a key ingredient in Spanish food. Las comidas is the general term for meals. So we have el desayuno, which is breakfast. El almuerzo, which is lunch. La cena, which is the supper. La comida, which is the big meal. And la merienda, which is a snack. So just a little bit about the meals in Spain, too. For example, for breakfast, I would have café con leche con dos galletas. I would have a cup of coffee with 2 graham crackers. They were, about 2 inches in diameter. And that was our breakfast. And, coming from a family that would have eggs or potatoes or something like that for breakfast, it just wasn't enough. So all of us would go out after our morning classes and get these wonderful pastries because lunch, which was actually the big meal of the day, la comida in Spain, wouldn't be until 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So getting up at 6 and having coffee and 2 little cookies, that just didn't suffice. And then we wouldn't eat again until, say, like 9, 10 o'clock at night, la cena. And then that was weird for us, too, because most often that was when we would have eggs. So la tortilla la española, a lot of times we'd have fish, might have a thin slice of cooked meat of some kind, like a chuleta, a pork chop, or carne, just some kind of beef or something like that, but very, very minimal. And so you kind of subsisted on that big lunch meal. And for that, a lot of times we would have paella, which is this wonderful rice dish that has all kinds of seafood in, or we would have multiple courses and these wonderful fruit desserts. Just very simple but delightful. So a lot of times we would just even pass the fruit bowl around and have fresh fruit. So finally, out of the nouns, unos adverbios. Juntos is together, like you can say vamos juntos, we're going together. Antes de is before, después de is after, enseguida is immediately. All right. Unos adjetivos, some adjectives then. Libre is free. Ocupado is occupied. Está libre el baño. Is the bathroom free? No, está ocupado. It's occupied. Some of these words then I had thrown in with our nouns. Congelado is frozen. Helado is iced. Caliente is hot. And then some sizes. Pequeño is small. Mediano is medium size. Grande is big. Excelente is excellent. Fresco is fresh. And then medio, as in medio kilo, is a way to kind of say, oh, I only want half of that. Medio kilo, por favor. Los verbos. Okay, we are getting into the ER and the IR verbs. So, ver, this one is to see, and that's going to be an irregular one, so I want to put an asterisk by it. The rest of these will follow a regular pattern. Leer, to read. Comprender, to understand. Aprender, to learn. Escribir, to write. Recibir, to receive. Vivir, to live. Comer, to eat. Beber, to drink. Vender, to sell. And abrir, to open. Okay. So here's what our verbs are going to look like. So here's the one irregular one that we're looking at. Veo, ves, ve, vemos, ves, ven. And I suppose I should probably put that this is from ver. And this is our ER endings. And this is our IR endings. So you can see how ver does pretty much follow the ER endings. The strange part is it doesn't have an accent here. And if you take off the ER, technically this should be vo, but it's not. So veo, ves, ve, vemos, ves, ven. Okay, so ER endings. You're going to see a lot of similarities with the AR endings, except where there was an A, now there's an E. O, es, e, hemos, es, en. And, of course, we've got the accent here in the vosotros form again. IR endings only change in these two spots. Maybe I should make them a different color. So, O, es, e, imos, is, en. So, in a way, it's simpler because you only have to remember the ER endings and then change these two. So, we'll see how you guys do with the verbs. Hablando de comer. So if you're talking about eating, we could say, vamos al café. Let's go to the café. Vamos juntos. Let's go together. Buscamos una mesa libre. We're looking for a open table, a free table. Some preguntas. ¿Qué desean ustedes? What do you all sirs want? Formal. You might use that if you are waiting tables. ¿Qué desean ustedes para comer? ¿Qué desean ustedes para beber? This is the format for the questions. What would you like to eat? What would you like to drink? ¿Está incluido el servicio? Is the tip included? Servicio is the tip. And that's always good to know when you go to different restaurants so that you don't tip unnecessarily. Sometimes it's included. ¿A cuánto está? This is the start of a question if you're asking how much something is. ¿A cuánto está el arroz? At what price is rice? Because I know when we go buy rice, the price varies depending on how the crop has been. Or ¿a cuánto están las manzanas? So at what price are apples? Because sometimes they're on sale, and especially if you go to an open market, you always have to find out what the price is that particular day. ¿Deseas algo para beber? ¿Deseas algo para comer? This is just a different form of this question. And it's in the to form. Do you, my good friend, want something to drink? Do you, my good friend, want something to eat? So this is more like the waiter asking you something. And then this is more if somebody comes over to your house. Do you want something to eat? Do you want something to drink? Okay. Some other important words. They've sort of been covered in other places, but I want to make sure you've got this. Algo más is just anything else. So if you're at the end of your meal, the waiter might come back and say, algo más? No necesito algo más. Or they might ask, nada más as a question, nothing more. Nada más? No, nada más. Gracias. Do you want anything else? Both of them can have that meaning. Just algo means something more and nada means nothing more. But you can use both as a question and you can use both as an answer. Para mí is for me. Para ti is for you, my good friend. Para usted is for you, sir. Porque, we've talked about this. This is because. Ir de compras. This is a construction that you have to memorize. So this is to go shopping or going shopping. Vamos de compras mañana porque es el viernes negro. We'll go shopping tomorrow because it's Black Friday. No es la verdad. Vale. Vale has two ways that it is usually used. Cuánto vale? How much is something worth? Because it comes from the word valer, which means to be worth. But you can also say it kind of like our okay. Vale, 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 vale. Okay, okay, okay. Incluido el servicio, tip included. Por favor, please. It's always so nice to have good manners. Gracias, thank you. De nada por nada, both of them mean you're welcome, or literally translated, it's nothing. Oh, that was for nothing. Okay. Las preposiciones. So we are going to be talking about some things where we use the prepositions, and you know the ens and as sometimes are tricky to figure out when we use. So en el mercado, like estoy en el mercado ahora, no es la verdad. En el supermercado, estoy en el supermercado, no es la verdad tampoco. In answer to the question, how much is something? Like, ¿a qué cuestan las manzanas? A 50 el kilo. 50 for a kilo. And then, en el café, en el restaurante, in the cafe, in the restaurant. Okay, so, esto es el vocabulario de capítulo 5. Buenas noches.